Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah, and in this video I wanted to talk about my first experience with having a existential crisis in my life, and why this experience for me was actually probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. As always, I hope you can take something away from this video, and with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so for this video, we are outside again. It's a gorgeous day here on this Saturday. It's a little bit bright, and that's why I have the sunglasses on for today, so I hope it's not too big of a distraction. But for this video, like I said, I want to kind of briefly elaborate on what my first experience was with having a existential crisis about maybe 3 or 4 years ago or so. And then following that story, I want to talk about, what I learned from it and what changed within my own personal thought process that ultimately got me to where I am now, where I am right now, which I'm a very happy individual. I have a lot of plans for, big endeavors in life. Things are consistent. I'm healthy physically, mentally. I have good relationships with my family and friends, and the list goes on and on and on. And I don't think I would be in this position had I not had that experience. So to begin, the first time I experienced anything like a existential crisis, obviously we all have heard of the midlife crisis that people go through, in their 40s, 50s, whatever it may be. I'm going to probably make a video on that sometime soon. But what people don't really talk about are other, crises or other crisis type situations, such as the one that I had, and where it can really happen at any point in life. It could happen when you're 15, it could happen when you're 20. In my case, it happened when I was 25 or 24, something like that. And what they can do to you, positively or negatively. Generally speaking, denotatively, I think they're defined negatively. But I think you can actually come away from the situation in a more positive mindset. In which case, this is my scenario where I had something that was supposed to be negative, but I came away from it pretty much better than ever. So my first experience with a crisis like this happened, like I said, probably 3 or 4 years ago, shortly after I had moved to Austin, Texas, after graduating and working for a little bit after college here in Wisconsin. And, this might seem like kind of a weird time to have a crisis like this, right? You're moving to a new area. It's exciting. A lot of stuff going on. It's summer year round. Not really, quite honestly, but it's hot. The weather's nice. Whatever it is. So you might think that that's kind of a weird time for me to have kind of gone through something like that. But what was going on, within my life is that I was working really hard at a job, working hard physically and mentally, which is not a good combination. And I just wasn't being compensated in the way that I thought I should have been. I was still very responsible with the money that I was making, but I was working a lot, 50 hours, sometimes more, and the mental fatigue that came with the job was kind of something that I really hadn't had previously. I'm not going to obviously say where that was or anything, but that was my experience. So I had that going on. I didn't have many friends in Austin. I had individuals that I would meet up to play tennis with, and that was pretty much it. All right, I just didn't like doing much. And other than that, I think I remained relatively healthy. I didn't have any kind of animosity towards anybody or any family member or anything like that. But I got to the point where I wanted to pursue higher education, or even higher education at a graduate level. And I did everything I needed to do, took my GRE, my exam, and was looking at schools, whatever. And I got to the point where I just did not feel like that was the best option. I guess I had a moment of kind of this reconciliation where I thought on if going back into school for 3-4 years and spending another, I don't know, 100,000, 150, I don't know how much it costs at this point, but a lot of money, right, for a degree where success isn't necessarily guaranteed. And, obviously nothing is guaranteed, but I do like to pursue endeavors that have a relatively high success rate, right? And an example would be investing in the stock market into long-term investments where the returns have historically, for the last 50 years, been relatively consistent, and we can use that to be successful in the future. That is kind of the thought process that I had. And I guess I had a moment where everything kind of was combined into a day, and I just started to question what the point in everything was, right? Why am I here? Why am I in Austin? I thought I moved out here for graduate school, and now I'm not even. I don't even want to go to graduate school. What am I doing, right? What is the point in all of this? I felt obviously pretty lost, because the job that I had was a job that you needed a degree for. So I thought that was pretty good, but it just wasn't. It was difficult physically, mentally, and like I said, I wasn't making six figures, higher than that or anything like that, and it was really demoralizing. And I had to be extremely, like I said, frugal. I had to take away a lot of enjoyment that a lot of people get, within a city like that, to be able to save the money that I was doing. So I just felt all this pressure from, all around me, and I guess I wasn't happy in that aspect of my life. So of course this leads me to think about, what is the point in it, right? What do I need to be doing differently? What's the point in working? Is there a point to continuing education? And I was looking through all of these resources, videos, forums and so on, and the consensus was generally not positive for me, where I wanted certain things in life. Everybody wants certain things in life: a house, a family, financial freedom. All of these, it depends on the individual, boat, right? Whatever it may be. And I knew that I wasn't on track to get that in my current situation. I think this is what really triggered this crisis of mine, is because I knew what I needed to have in my life to get on a track towards, self-actualization, if you want to use that. And I knew that I was really far from that course. And I think this is what really triggered this crisis. So now we get into the part of the story where I talk about, how I came away from this better than I have ever been. And there's two options, right? When we have a circumstance like this, you can either kind of let it sit with you and keep going down this unhappy path. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people do fall into this trap, and it just kind of haunts them for a good portion of their life. Or you can turn away and say, what can I be doing differently in order to set myself up for the success that I deserve, that I want? And that is exactly what I did. I essentially started teaching myself new skills, getting certifications, learning about different fields, learning about the stock market, and how all of that stuff works. And that's how I really got involved with personal finance and trying to help other people utilize the money that they are making, even if it might not be, six figures or upwards of six figures, and still have a relatively good life. And this is what really kickstarted my endeavor of, doing YouTube, forming AFA, ARC Financial Analysis. Although I'm not doing too much with that right now, because I'm actually pursuing somewhat bigger endeavors. But it's a matter of just getting out of that rut that I was in after I had that crisis. We're taking on these different skills, learning new things, and trying to be more of a well-versed professional that really helped me kind of see the world in a better light. And ultimately this led me to get to a point right now where I think I know what my purpose is. The big definition, if you look up existential crisis, is that people are at a loss of purpose in life. They don't feel like they are here for any other reason other than to just be a person, work, and die. And obviously that is extremely depressing. But the experience that I had, where I started trying to become a bigger individual, I wish I could, get over 6 foot, but I think I'm stuck at 5'10", at least for right now. But being a bigger individual, in where you are well versed in workplace skills, you can do many different jobs, right? You could be an applicant on for many different companies. Building myself up in that way, and obviously finance is a big part of this channel, and that happens to be something that I thought was, or I strongly believe is truly important for at least my journey, where I needed to make sure that I was using the money that I was making and will continue to make for the foreseeable future in ways that's actually conducive to my long-term success. Does this involve sacrificing some short-term pleasure, in return of a long-term gain? Absolutely, but that's something that I realized through this process as well. And besides that, I started to really appreciate, the people that I have around me, right? My close friends, friends that might be friends down the road, and of course, family. I started to realize that, people are not going to be around forever. Especially when you start looking at your parents and their parents, grandparents, and so on. Time is unfortunately limited. There is a finite amount of time, and for these individuals, it just so happens to be quite a bit smaller than statistically I have. And I started to really think about, having regrets down the road if I didn't spend sufficient time with them now and really enjoyed their company. And that's why, pursuing, a job that I had the flexibility to kind of work wherever was something that, I worked towards, and I got it. And sure enough, it led to a lot of happiness. I'm currently, like I said, right now in Wisconsin, and I can see all of my extended family. I can spend time doing things with my grandparents, and I'm not saying they're going to die tomorrow, obviously, but if they did, God forbid, I wouldn't feel, I would feel terrible. Maybe that's not the best way of putting it, but I wouldn't have as much regret. And that is something that, gives me purpose, right? It gives me purpose to be around, to get myself out of that existential crisis that I previously mentioned I had. The final thing that I kind of took away from this experience that ultimately led me to be in a more positive headspace about my purpose in life is that if I got all of my stuff together, right, all of my finances in order, taking care of my family, my own personal health, my mental health, and so on, I will ultimately be able to try to help other people along the way, right? We don't want to let other people into our life if we don't have if we're not on, if we don't have ourselves taken care of first. It's kind of similar to on an airplane where you don't, they always tell you to take care of your ventilation mask, your air mask, before you help others. It seems, counterintuitive sometimes, right? But that is the reality that we have in life too. And I think for me, a huge motivator that got me out of that negative mindset is that if I get my stuff figured out, right, if I get on a solid financial track, if I start budgeting in a way where I can take care of traveling and investing and saving for bigger expenses, if I got that on track, not only will I be happy there, I'll also be happy with the relationship with my family and my friends and so on. So when I get that stuff together, I can do other stuff, right? I could retire early and volunteer somewhere, or I could retire early and coach tennis. I'm making stuff up at this point, but you kind of hopefully get the point where I don't think anybody wants to work forever. There's certain things that we want to do, our personal interests, that unfortunately either don't pay that much or don't pay at all. And I want to get to the point where I can provide a value to other people besides myself and people in my family and close friend group that are maybe a little bit down on themselves, right? And I want to be able to transition, the positive outlook that I have on life to them as well. So there you have it. That is my hopefully quick description of the first and maybe hopefully the last existential crisis that I had some years ago, and how I was able to kind of get myself out of the negative position that usually comes alongside having these feelings, and get myself into a position where I am right now, where I have a very positive outlook on life, on myself, what I'm doing right now, my purpose in life. I wake up with a purpose every single day, and I think that's absolutely huge for people to have. It's going to bring communities together, it's going to bring countries together, it's going to get people on the same page, and more importantly, it's going to lead to the world being a better place. But of course, I want to hear from you guys as well. Have you ever experienced a existential crisis like I did? And what did you do to hopefully get yourself out of the negative headspace that comes alongside that? Please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you've stuck along this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for your time. I greatly do appreciate it. As always, I hope you were able to take something away from this video today, and of course, happy financing.